Episode 110, Spinny. What's
What's
happening there,
up,
guy?
boss? How we feeling on this episode 110 date?
Well, I hate to make it Debbie Downer to the start of the episode here, but JJ McCarthy, man, we're going to call this the JJ McCarthy episode. We'll talk a little bit about it more after this break with Spinny. That's why I'm just in bad spirits today, man. We got Vikings going down left and right. Like, what's new, bro?
I
Look at my
know.
headline. Nothing new, man. Like,
It's
it's
big
so annoying.
tough. JA going down today, too. Carted off the field at practice this morning.
I know, for real.
Big tough.
Let's talk
Well,
about
let's
something
talk.
better though. Volleyball. When do you actually kick off the season? When's the first official start of practice? Have you already had it? When's your first game? Tell me a little bit about that.
Moving day is Friday. So,
Oh,
Friday, 2 days away here, recording on this Wednesday afternoon. Um, Moving day, Saturday, we start practice.
yep.
Um, Basically go 10 days straight until we leave for California on Wednesday the 28th. We do have a
Jeez.
scrimmage. We do have a scrimmage at Eau Claire the Saturday before that. So the 25th, 4th, 24th.
Fourth, yeah.
We have a scrimmage at Eau Claire. That'll kind of break it up a little bit in there. So, but yeah, that's what it looks like. One
Shit, first
scrimmage.
game down in Cali, huh? Damn.
Oh yeah, first game, first
I
four
know you
games of the
talked
season in
about that,
Cali.
but I didn't realize it was the first game. So that's gonna be a great way to start y'all season, man.
It's gonna be fun. Two teams that were ranked last year, out of the four that we play, so it
Oh hell yeah.
should be a good time.
Well, we'll be sure to check in with you at the end of August to see how that trip went. But let's get on with episode 110, man, the JJ McCarthy episode. All right. We said we would do it. Let's do it. First headline is JJ himself. As we all know, he tore his meniscus, announced today that he will miss his entire rookie season. Spinny, what's your mood, man? How do you feel about that?
I mean, par for the course, right? I
Right.
guess if there was a silver lining to this, we all kind of expected Sammy D to be the starter until midseason anyway.
Right.
So that's pretty much firmed up. He's gonna be our guy for the whole season. Um, I'm feeling optimistic today, boss. I really
For
am.
some reason, I am too. I am
I
too, actually.
The Jordan Addison injury obviously scares me if that's a serious lower leg injury. The fact that he had to get carted off, not a good look. That changes our offense a little bit, but I do get vibes of Tampa Bay last year with Baker, with us with Sammy. A little better offense from us,
Hmm.
probably a little better defense from them, but
Ooh.
I don't know, boss. When we bring our NFL predictions out, you might
Uh-huh.
find some
I
different
would be
teams at the top of the
surprised.
North. You might be a
Okay.
little surprised.
Hey, I like it, man. I was looking more beyond this season from an optimistic standpoint, but damn, I didn't know you were that optimistic about this season, even after the fact. I just think, like you said, he wasn't going to play anyway. So, like, he's still going to be on the sidelines. He's still going to be in the film room. He's still going to be learning this entire year. Say we end with a top 10 pick. What's wrong with that? You know what I mean? We already have a loaded roster. We have key pieces already signed long term to get another good player, good rookie coming in, plus having the most cap space in the NFL next offseason. Like, there's not really a bad way to look at it either way. Sammy D, though, you got faith in him, huh? A little Case Keenum action or what?
You
A little
know
1 year
Sammy
wonder?
D. You know Sammy D's been my guy
Yeah, he
since
has.
draft day. You
Since
know that.
draft day, yeah.
I've been in this guy, and I still think this guy can throw a considerably accurate ball. I think he has
That's all he
proved
has to
that.
do. That's all he has to
And
do.
that's all he has to do. I see the best offensive line the man's ever had by like 3 times Like, we're
Yeah.
talking the Vikings for sure have a top 10 offensive line. I think we're in that top 5 borderline, especially if O'Neal takes that next step. Darrisaw's already locked for, a
Oh
top
yeah.
7 left tackle. And then the weapons. So I don't know. I think it'll be fun. I think the offense is going to be creative, and he's going to put Sam in the best positions to be successful.
Right.
So we'll see.
And now there's not as much pressure on Sammy either. He
No.
doesn't have to look over his shoulder at JJ as much. Doesn't have to be wondering when the front office is going to make that call that JJ's a starter. The media, no one has any high hopes for the Vikings anymore at this point. We some of our better Viking seasons have come when we're kind of just below the radar. So
I
I
feel
like it
we're
from that
we're,
aspect.
we're right where we want to be right now
Yeah, I
from
know.
how we're being viewed perspective.
Right.
So that's another thing that's keeping me optimistic. But the Addison injury is big. That's a big weapon
News
for
is it's
us.
apparently just an ankle injury, is what
Woo!
KOC said. So hopefully that's true.
Yeah,
Either way, obviously, prayers up to Addison, prayers up to JJ. Obviously, we're going to need JJ to come back healthy, ready to go next year. So hopefully he hits his rehab hard and stays motivated. Don't lose that motivation just from this injury. Minor
big
setback for a major comeback.
facts.
Now we got to dive into these NFL.com player rankings. As we know, every summer they release these. These are actually voted on by the players themselves. But Spinny and I, we're going to roast the players anyways. One main issue I have with the rankings, they don't really specify if it's from the performance last year or if they're kind of forecasting what's going to happen this season. They don't really specify. So that makes me confused.
I feel like it's right now. Right
It's
now,
just got to be
current.
right now, today.
Yep. Yep.
And that's where, if that's how they're looking at it, I completely disagree with so many things.
Yeah.
Tyreek Hill's the best player in all of the NFL. What are we talking about? He's not number one. I wouldn't even. He's the only one I would consider putting ahead of Jefferson. But he's the only. You know what I mean? So Jefferson being behind CD, that's another issue I have with this. I mean, I could nitpick here and there throughout the whole thing, man. What did you think about the rankings?
Yeah, like I try to go a little position by position on this
Yeah, for
because
sure.
like here's the deal. Quarterbacks are way more important than any other position. The top 5 to 7 quarterbacks should probably be 1 through 5 to 7 on this list. But I understand that's not like how this list goes.
Right.
So, is Patrick Mahomes the 4th best player in the league? Is Patrick Mahomes worse than Tyreek Hill and CMC and
And
who's the other one
Lamar.
I'm forgetting? And Lamar? No. But I do take issue with the Lamar over Pat. I don't know how Patrick Mahomes is not the number one quarterback on your list. I just don't
It makes no
understand
sense.
that at all. None. Zero
3
understanding
rings,
of
bro.
that
3.
in any way. There's a
2
couple other
MVPs.
things. I understand the Burrow injury, but we're really putting Tua above Joe Burrow. And
Yeah.
then if we want to play that way, that's fine. If we want to say last season Tua, led the league in passing yards and Burrow was hurt, that's fine. But then we have Stafford over Jared Goff,
Yeah.
which is the exact opposite of that scenario we just gave.
Like, did they not watch the playoff game? Like, Goff literally beat him head to head, even for that matter. Beat him in stats and head to head.
Yeah, and just the consistency piece is a little bit worrisome to me, but at the same time, voting is voting, so you're never going to get that complete consistency top to bottom.
Yeah, that's true. A couple other issues I have. I mean, there's 20 wide receivers on the list. Are we really confident saying 1/5 of the top 100 players in the NFL are receivers? I don't know if it's quite that number. I know it's close. Receivers are obviously very important in today's game. But if receivers are that important, how aren't there more cornerbacks on the list is what really confuses me. Only 5 corners on the list, Spinny. 5. Like,
That's
that doesn't make
crazy.
sense. We're valuing the receivers, but we're not going to value the guys who are guarding them, defending them every possession. Jalen Ramsey, Deron Bland, Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain, and Tariq Woolen, the only 5 corners that were on the list. Yeah, so I mean, like we said, we could nitpick here and there, but It's more of the consistency. Like it just doesn't make sense from position to position.
Yeah, I don't get it position to position. Shout out the Pats for no players on the
No
list.
players, yeah.
Um,
But like even that, it's like you're telling me Matthew Judon's not a top 100 player. Like I don't
and
believe in that.
but that's an injury situation, right? If
Right.
that's like how we're playing it, it's just
But
so
then Burrow's
hard
on the
to.
list though, so it's like
Yeah,
they don't really factor in injuries completely, but they do to a point. So it's like I don't really get it. Whatever.
you
Players
got
are voting
any
for it, so
you got any snub shout outs, Bus? I just got one in
no,
my head, really.
no. Who do you got? I mean, Matthew Judon would have been one, but
Matthew Judon for sure one. DJ Moore?
oh
DJ
yeah,
Moore not in the
what
top
is that?
100.
What is
That's
that?
crazy to me.
We're gonna put
Um,
20 wide receivers on there, but he's not one of the 20. I don't get
yeah.
that. That makes no sense.
1,300 receiving yards last year, sixth in the league, and fourth most in the history of the Bears franchise. That was pretty crazy. So DJ Moore's off, but Terry McLaurin's 1,002 yards gets him on above. Little questiony to me. Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers being on, but back at 92, I find weird. Either
Well,
you put him, either you put him up there because you know he's going to be good when he comes back, or you take him off the list because he
you
was
take
hurt.
him off.
I feel like it's one or
Exactly.
the other. You can't have him at 92. That feels weird to me.
It just literally is back to the Judon thing. That's the same point. Judon was hurt. Well, guess what? Aaron Rodgers played what? 4 snaps? Why
Four
is he on the
snaps.
list then?
Yeah.
I don't get it. All right, let's move on to Olympics.
Also, one interesting fact. So they do a last 10 out of this
Yeah.
list. Did you see who was seventh on the last 10 out list?
Nah, who
Because
was it?
kind of blew my mind. I'm gonna read you here if my thing will load for me. The last 10 out. Joe Tooney, number 101. Guard, not gonna get. Baker, 102. Aaron Jones, 103. Matt Milano, 104. Grady Jarrett, 105. TJ Hawkinson, 106. I'm gonna skip 107 because that's the guy we're talking about. Bijan, 108. CJ Mosley, 109. Cam Jordan, 110. 107. It's a quarterback.
The fact that even Bijan is not on the list is pathetic. A quarterback. So you think this guy for sure should have been in the top 100?
I think this guy shouldn't have been in the top 200.
Oh God, who would this be? Um,
Quarterback listed at 107.
oh man, I'm trying to think who had maybe a semi decent. Geno Smith, maybe.
Ooh, that's a good guess. Also, before I reveal the name, DJ Moore not in the top 110 either. DJ Moore not first 10 out. Um,
Ludicrous, man.
Joe Flacco,
Joe
107.
Flacco.
Joe Flacco,
All right.
107.
We are done.
Joe Flacco, 107.
We're done. We're done talking about these rankings. That's all you need to know, Hardies and Hardos, is that the players apparently think Joe Flacco is the 107th ranked player in the NFL.
17th best quarterback in the league, Joe Flacco.
17th best quarterback.
Also, breaking news via Jordan Schultz. Patriots closing in on finalizing a trade to send pass rusher Matthew Judon to the Atlanta Falcons. Falcons trading for a pass rusher. Really going all in. They're really going all in.
Finally addressed the pass rusher need after all these seasons of drafting an offensive player in the top 10.
Matthew Judon.
Matthew Judon. All right, let's jump to Olympics. As we all know, USA, we won in terms of medals, 126. China had 91. Great Britain had 65. In golds, though, we tied with China with 40. Japan had 20. Some more interesting facts here, Spinny. More than 40% of U.S. Olympians left the games with a medal. I think that's incredible. 44 of our Olympians left with multiple medals. That's a ton. And shout out Regan Smith from Lakeville, Minnesota. She is tied for the most medals in the entire games with 5. So shout out to her. She's a swimmer for those that don't know. Spinny, what was catching your eye in this last week? I know volleyball's got to be one of them, right?
Yeah, we're gonna throw volleyball out there. Super awesome, gritty, winning performance from the women's team over Brazil in the semifinal match. That had not happened yet last pod. That was a 3-2 win for the USA. Super gritty win, very back and forth game. Five setter. Brazil really came on strong late. Great push by the U.S. team. Avery Skinner and Jordan Thompson and Catherine Plummer, all three really showing out in that one. To then get trounced in the gold medal game. Italy 3-0 over the United States in that one. Italy been in the top three of the national rankings basically consistently. Hoping to take a set or two for the U.S. women, but Italy was definitely favored in that game. Nice little silver medal for the women's indoor squad. Men's on the men's side, men lose in the semifinal to Poland. Poland then goes on to get swept 3-0 by France. So France really dominated Poland. France also 3-0'd Italy and 3-0'd Poland. They also went 3-0 in their quarterfinal match. So 9 straight sets in the last 3 from the French men. Really
at the Olympic level too. That's
great,
incredible.
amazing performance by them. And then the U.S. Beating Italy in the bronze medal match to bring that home. So that was cool to see. Really the last run for a lot of these U.S. men, as I mentioned last time. So it was nice to see them get a medal. Both indoor United States teams get a medal. Something that none of the 4 beach teams could say.
Yeah,
none of them even making the quarterfinal match. Not one of the 4 beach teams from America making
the beach volleyball performance was surprising to you, Spinny, right?
Very, very surprising.
Especially the women.
Yeah, especially the women. I mean, the men.
I'm drawing a blank on our best 2. God, I'm drawing a blank on her names.
Chang and why can I not remember her other name? I'm sorry, I'm gonna shout. Not Chang's partner. Sorry, I don't remember your name currently. I'll get that before we finish here. But yeah, very underwhelming performance by the beach teams.
Yeah, that's depressing. Italy though, they're that good at volleyball, huh? To medal both men and women as well.
Yeah.
It's a little surprising to me, but I'm not locked into the global standings.
Consistently great performances from Italy, one of the best volleyball countries in the world for sure. Both men and women have been no lower than the top 3 in the world rankings in the last year. So,
oh wow,
kind of expected going in from both Italy men and women.
Yeah, well, nice. At least we medaled. Both indoor teams medaled. A little disappointing, like you said, beach volleyball standpoint, but indoor teams, they kind of got the job done, I think.
Yeah.
Track, as expected, our track athletes just put on a freaking show. They did even better than they normally do. I think 14 golds what they finished, which I believe is either tied for or is the most golds ever by the U.S. track team. 11 silver, 9 bronze, 34 total medals our track team got, Spinny.
Sarah Hughes. Sorry to interrupt. Sarah Hughes was Chang and Hughes. Thanks.
Chang and Hughes, yes. Can't believe we forgot that. We had 2 on the podium, though, Spinny, in all these events. Men's 100, men's 1500, men's 110 hurdles, men's shot put, women's 200, women's 100, women's 400, women's long jump. That's 9 events. We had multiple athletes on the podium, and both of our 4x4 relays won gold especially the women, by a large margin. What was your favorite track event? I gotta ask.
Ooh, honestly, pole vaulting.
That was fun to watch this year.
That was really,
or however you say his name, that set the world record.
He's insane. His second to last jump was one of the craziest pole vaults I've ever seen in my life. I'm usually not a huge pole vault guy, usually more into the running aspect, but pole vaulting really got me this year with, like, the athletes were very engaging and got me kind of hooked on it. Also, obviously, the dashes for the men, seeing the Noah Lyles kind of the quarters, semis, and finals for the 100 especially was really fun.
That finals 100 was nuts.
Seeing Lyles with the stare down in the semifinal and then getting beat in the final. Not going to make excuses, even though it sounds like he had COVID during the time. You could kind of tell after the race he looked like he was going to die. Um, but yeah, it was fun to see. Even though I obviously wanted Lyles, was hoping Lyles would pull out the dub. It was fun to see as well. It was cool to see. Oh, what country is man from? Why can I not remember it right now? It's blue. The flag is blue. The winner of the 100. Oh no, Bus. I'm really gonna choke this like this. It was cool to see that man win as well. Kind of had been one of the guys that wasn't really participating in the shit talking back and forth
Yeah.
throughout. So it was kind of fun to see him win, especially when there had been so much shit talk between others as well.
Well, Lyles and others for that matter.
Basically Lyles instigating everyone. Well, Lyles
Yeah.
getting instigated, then instigating it back. You know how
Yeah.
that goes.
Exactly. Did you see USA men's basketball tweet at Noah Lyles?
No, I did not.
I I guess it was more of a subtweet than tweet. They didn't actually at Noah Lyles, but they were like, "We don't play for bronze when we advance to the gold medal game." Just constant shots back and forth, and I just find it hilarious that it's from the actual USA men's basketball page. You know what I mean? It's not
I
like from
know.
some random troll. Like they're just
Yeah.
attacking him himself. I thought that was
So
funny.
funny. Also, just wanted to make the point quick as a correction. Noah Lyles did win the 100. I was talking the 200. I know I probably said that wrong in the midst of that. Tobago from Botswana was the country that won the
Yeah,
200. That was
Botswana.
really
Yep.
cool to see the whole like him coming back to Botswana after winning and
Yeah.
how the entrance he received and all that was super awesome.
Even Julian Alfred is her name. She won the 100 women's 100. She's from St. Lucia. First medal of any kind for that country. The videos you can see them on any social media of their people at the watch party, just going absolutely insane. Stuff like that. It's always awesome to see. Spinny, I got one more shout out before we obviously have to dive into basketball. Women's soccer, man, they got it done. Our men's soccer is just a freaking joke, but women's soccer, they just keep getting done. First gold though in 12 years. So shout out to them.
The front three, the nasty trio,
Oh
scoring
God,
13 of the 14 goals scored by the U.S.
yeah,
women's soccer team during it. Those three are gods. Women's soccer has been, or U.S. women's soccer has been consistently at the top, in the final three or four, basically for the last 12 to 15 years. So it's really cool to see that continuing and us finally push through and really get the gold medal dub was really awesome to see from them.
yeah, agree. Basketball, men's 3-on-3, they were terrible as we know. They did not advance. Women, shout out to them. We were kind of reaming them on this pod, especially for their shot selection in some of those first
Oh my
games. But
goodness.
they immediately came back, won four straight, advanced to the knockout stage, and they ended up getting bronze. So shout out to our women's 3-on-3 team there. 5-on-5, as expected, they took home gold, but they only won over France in the gold medal game by 1 point. Spinny, get this. So that was their 61st game won in a row. They're on a 61 game winning streak at the Olympics, our women's basketball. This was only the third game out of those 61 games that we won by single digits. That's how dominant our women's basketball team has been over the last 20 to 30 years. That's ridiculous, man.
That's effing insane. Yeah, they did not play good in that final.
No.
Lots of bad shot selection, turnovers for days. Um, Good to see him get the win, but definitely not their best performance. But golds are golds, baby. Golds are golds.
Golds are golds. Asia Wilson turning MVP, averaged 19 and 10 with 2 assists, 1.5 steals, and 3 blocks. Definitely cementing herself as the best player in the entire world. So shout out Asia Wilson. Men's 5-on-5, Spinny. What do you think about that game versus Serbia? Because personally, I thought that was like one of the best Olympic games I've seen. It was so back and forth. It just had everything. It had some of the best players ever. Luckily Jokic was on the other side. That helps things. It was just so well played by both teams. Well, I shouldn't say so well played, but you get what I mean.
It was a great game. I think Serbia was one more consistent scorer away from beating us.
They would have, yeah.
After Jokic and Bojan, it kind of dwindles down there. Even though that lefty was making good ass shots in that game as well. I think they just needed one more one more thoroughbred, one more big, shooter, scared guy
Yeah,
that actually scared the United States. And they might have had us. Some
they
great
might have.
chemistry. They ran everything through Jokic when he was on the floor. Really good offensive system they ran there. So credit to Serbia and their coach and their system and how they did everything, playing to the strengths of their team and the weaknesses of ours.
Yeah, for sure. Curry finished with 36, won off the
And
U.S.
thank
Olympic
God Steph
letter.
Curry is alive.
Thank God Steph Curry showed up for the last 2 games. Facts. Embiid, 19 on 8 of 11 shooting. That was by far his best game in the Olympics. By far. He made what? 7 straight points in that fourth quarter. Very crucial
He
buckets.
brought us back at the beginning
Yeah,
of the fourth. Embiid's the one that gave us hope.
yes, for sure. Braun, he was responsible for 18 points and also had 6 boards in the fourth quarter. So LeBron also lit him up in the fourth. Finished with a triple double, only the second triple double in U.S. men's Olympic history. So good games there. France. What do you think about the France? Were you ever worried? Because we were obviously controlling. We had the lead the entire game. Were you ever actually worried we'd lose the lead? I
Way
wasn't.
more worried against Serbia than I was against
Same.
France. Not even
Same.
close.
They didn't have the guard play and the offensive scoring to keep up with us. Obviously, it was
Agreed.
a close game, but like going in, I knew they weren't going to be able to score. And honestly, the only reason it was that close is because Wemby went off.
Yeah.
That dude is a.
We'll be
I
scared
don't
of
even know
France
what
in
to
the
say.
future, though, with Wemby.
Yeah, he is a. He's a freak, and especially like how he reacted. Like, dude's 19 years old and he's balling. Like that tells me that he actually thought that they were going to win, that they could beat the U.S. You know what I mean? And
Yeah.
so he's this hungry and this competitive at that age. Usually the young guys don't figure that out until a couple, 2, 3, 4, 5 years into the league. Even this guy seems to already have that competitive edge figured out already. So I'm kind of scared to see what this guy's going to develop into. LeBron, he led the tournament. He led U.S. in points, boards, assists, and field goal percentage. He was obviously named tourney MVP. Do you think that was the right
Rigged.
choice? Oh, rigged! You're lying. You don't
Yeah.
actually think that.
Steph Curry should have won. It's big
Just for
tough,
his
but he should have.
just for the 2 games that he showed up to.
Yep. No,
Speaking of
I'm
that,
just
did you
kidding.
see?
Bron deserved it over the length of the tournament. Really,
Yeah.
really played well. Fun to see him turn it on in those moments as well. I
Did you
thought
see the?
co MVPs between him and Curry could have been
Ooh,
done though.
yeah, true. Did you see the Instagram story or Instagram live of Curry and Anthony Edwards? Did
Yes.
you see that? And it's just like
Yes.
this man just showed up 3 days ago, like just
Yeah,
talking shit to
literally.
him.
This man just showed up 3 days ago. I lost it.
So did I, bro. That was so funny. Do you have any other comments about the Olympics? Otherwise, we will move on. Now we are
Let's
going
get
to do
after it.
Spinny, some fancy football, man. It's that time of year. Let's go. We are going to do a QB only draft here. We are each going to draft 5 QBs, obviously alternating picks, and see who has the best group of QBs. We're going to strictly do QBs, like I'm saying, half PPR. I know that doesn't really affect QB scoring, but that's what we're using here. So, Spinny, I'm going to be nice, man. You can have the first pick for the QBs.
Josh Allen, easy money, a lot of
Dang it!
ball in his hands, less receiving core. It's all going to be about him. You're going to get a lot of rushing yards and touchdowns on him this year as well. We're going Josh Allen.
Obviously, the right pick. He's definitely the best fantasy QB. I was just hoping you would take the actual best QB, Mahomes, first. Believe it or not, he did have a down year for fantasy wise last year, but I'm not going to bet that that's going to happen again. So I am going to take Mahomes with my first pick.
Good. I'm glad. These next two are very equal quarterbacks. I'm going to take the one with less injury history, probably equal teams as well. So we're going to go with Jalen Hurts.
I
For
knew
pick
it.
two for me.
I knew it. So that makes my pick too easy. Hopefully he can stay healthy. He's coming off his second MVP season. Lamar Jackson, fourth QB off the board.
We're getting into the dirty here.
Yeah, we
This
are.
next group, I'm going to pick my favorite guy and a
No,
guy who is not going to have a sophomore slump. CJ Stroud, my pick
no.
right here.
Yeah, this. Yeah, what was I thinking giving you the first pick? Gosh,
Big tough,
I,
boss.
I should have envisioned this happening. Oh man, that's Man, I think I have to go almost upside here just to try to catch up to your team. This is a very risky pick for the 6th QB off the board. I'm going and hoping he's going to stay healthy this year.
You're
Anthony
not.
Richardson.
Ah, that's
I'm
such an
going with him.
upside pick. I really don't like it, if I gotta be honest.
It
But
is
I
an
respect
upside
it.
pick, but I think Shane Steichen is an amazing coach. If Richardson and Taylor can stay healthy, I don't see how they're not, flirting with 9 to 11 wins. Even in his limited games, he had like 4 or 5 rushing touchdowns already. So I think that's going to play a huge factor in Richardson's success. So it's a gamble, but like I said, I gotta come back on you a little bit.
I'm gonna go safe here then to combat yours. We're gonna go with very consistent fantasy quarterback over the last 5 years with some very great weapons on a pretty good team. We're gonna take Dak. We're gonna go with Dak Prescott here for QB4.
Yeah, he went the hell off last year in fantasy. He really did.
Agreed.
So now I got to take another injury risk here. But obviously,
Which
when he's
one? That's the question.
there's too many of them. This guy though is obviously a top 5 QB when he's actually playing. Joe Burrow will be my next pick.
This
Again,
you
just fingers crossed he can actually stay healthy.
you made this one hard for me. I'm gonna go with the young guy here. With the guy that I think everyone thinks is gonna make a huge ascension, and I think he could as well. Obviously, get the running capability here. We're gonna go with Jordan Love for
Oh
pick
my! I should have took the
5.
first pick because you got all
Jordan
the guys
Love.
I wanted. Gosh,
Allen Hurts, Love, Stroud, and Dak for me.
man, I think okay. So my 5th pick again. I think I just got to go upside and hope that this guy as well as Richardson hit their peak. Let's go number 1 pick in the draft, Caleb Williams.
Wow.
I know that's risky. Other guys around this area on the board though are like Kyler, Brock Purdy, Jared Goff.
Kyler should have been your last pick. I think
Me?
Kyler. I think Kyler will be flirting with top 5 fantasy quarterback this year. I was so debating between him and Love with that last pick right there. I think Kyler's gonna be well. We'll maybe save that for later.
The For me, it was just the injury. I already picked Richardson and Burrow. I couldn't pick
Yeah.
Kyler too. I just
Yeah.
we got to go upside. My 5 QBs: Mahomes, Lamar, Richardson, Joe Burrow, Caleb Williams. Hard as hardos. Comment down below who you think won that draft. If you think Spinny won, then at least give me credit for giving him the first pick because I'm nice. No
Love,
comment.
love. No comment. I already won, so it's fine.
All right, Spinny. I'll tell you what you're not going to win in. Do you know what you're not going to win in?
I know what I'm dubbing in. That's for sure.
It's trivia time. That's right, Hardies and Hardos. Spinny, I will ask you first. Easy question. Last year's leader in overall fantasy points, all positions combined, who led the entire league in fantasy points?
Lamar Jackson, final.
I thought this was going to be easy for you. You picked him number 1. Josh Allen led the league in
Really?
fantasy points last year.
That's surprising to me. All right. Well, you already talked about my easy question, my first one on the pod. So we're gonna go top of our head, and if you don't get this one, you should be slapped.
Oh no, these are always the ones I don't get.
What country did the winner of the 200-meter men's race come from?
Botswana.
Botswana. Good. 1 point for you.
Yeah, you're right. I deserve to be slapped. I got that one wrong. Okay, Spinny. 1 point per correct answer here. Obviously, you need to get both points. 3 receivers made their first career appearance as a WR1 in fantasy last season. Name 2 of these 3. What receiver was out of nowhere really good last year. Or maybe not
Okay.
necessarily out of nowhere.
Puka. We're gonna say Puka, and then,
Ding, ding, ding. You got 1 point.
okay,
I will give you, you can name 2 other players too. You don't have to only guess twice.
Puka, DJ Moore. Second answer, final, and then,
Well, I
We're
can
gonna
just
say
stop you right there.
we're gonna say Nico Collins. Nico Collins.
Well, there's too bad I didn't give you a bonus point because you named all 3.
Let's go, boss.
Thank
Let's
God,
go.
thank God I didn't offer a bonus point. I didn't think you'd actually name all 3.
Damn.
Puka WR4, DJ Moore WR6, and Nico Collins WR9. New to the top 10.
I'm good. That's 3
Wow.
points. Should be 3 points.
No, that's 2, but that is impressive.
Uh-huh. All right. Okay. My medium. Who has the third most silver medals in this Olympics behind China and the US, the top 2? Silver medals. Third most.
Let's go. Let's go. No. Yeah, screw it. Let's go Great Britain.
France.
France?
26 gold or silver medals, 26. Great Britain fourth with 25.
Okay. Going into the hard round, Spinny has 2 points. I have 1. The Spinny gets this. He solidifies the win. Hard question. 2 rookies led their position in fantasy points last season. One is obviously Sam Laporta. Who is the other?
Led their position?
Led their position in points.
Really? Because it's not running back. Quarterback I already said was Allen. Not tight end. So that means receiver? But I don't see how that's possible.
I don't know. There's maybe other positions in fantasy football.
Oh, frick. I'm not going to get this question right. Damn it.
I knew this was going to stump you, man. Let's go.
I don't even know if this guy was a rookie last year. Let's go Cameron Dicker.
I think he was a rookie last year. You're on the right path. It was a kicker. Rookie Brandon Aubrey from the Cowboys.
Brandon Aubrey.
He led by 20 points, too, over Justin Tucker. He was kicker 1 by that much of a margin. This was a dude that didn't even play football either. He was like a soccer player that just came and just was nailing every single freaking field goal he ever took last year. It was insane.
Basically number 2 on all the preseason fantasy kicker rankings currently.
Yeah. It's ridiculous. All right, Spinny, I got to get this one to beat you.
Hard question. Again, China and the U.S., number 1 and number 2 in golds. Who is third in golds after those 2? Sorry, bronzes. I'm sorry. Bronze medals. China and the U.S., top 2 in bronze medals. Who is number 3?
Gosh. Let's go Great Britain. Final answer.
It is Great Britain. Great Britain.
Let's go!
65.
Come on,
most
Spin.
Bronzes.
Come on, Spin.
That was probably too easy. Given out 2 easy hard questions here on the hard-headed. I deserve that out. That L's on me, folks. We'll take that
Let's
one.
go.
Too freaking easy, man.
Especially when I was the one that came to this pod with all the medal details. You should have known I have a decent guess in my head.
Yeah. It's all right. We'll be back next week to W ass.
To take another L. Yeah, you're probably right. All right. Final segment. We are now going to draft receivers. We're going to do a couple more. We're each going to draft 7. So get the top 14 guys here, hopefully. Spinny, I'm obviously picking first this time.
What?
Yep.
No.
Yes. I'm picking first. This would be more of a debate if someone didn't have a contract issue. I'm going Tyreek Hill with my first pick.
Really? Well, that makes it tough. Given what's going on right now, I'm okay doing this. I'm going to take Justin Jefferson.
Okay.
I'm take Justin Jefferson with my first pick.
You're not a little worried that, like, say Addison misses weeks, like even the additional attention on Jefferson, you're not worried about that?
No, because it's also additional target load. If Addison
Yeah.
misses
Right,
time,
right.
like Jefferson's
That's
gonna
true.
get 200 targets.
The
Two
efficiency might drop
230
down, but
targets. Yeah,
he's yeah,
but for fantasy, that don't matter.
yeah, you're right. Good point. Man, that was a good pick there.
You were taking him with your second pick, 100%.
Yeah, it was
Yep.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go the guy he's constantly compared to. He played with him in college. I'll go Jamar Chase.
Love that. I'll gladly take my guy CeeDee Lamb at pick 2 for me. I think we're looking at probably the number 1 fantasy receiver, given he's guaranteed 210 targets if he's healthy and playing and off his contract situation.
That's literally the only question with CD. The only reason why he wasn't a top 2 pick to me was just that little chance that he actually does pull a Le'Veon Bell and misses a lot of the season. So there, you do run that risk, but in terms of fantasy outlook, it couldn't be any higher for CD Lamb. That dude's gonna be a monster.
Yep.
I'm gonna go another guy who's been nothing but consistent since he entered this league. Obviously, really exploded last year with a team that finally made the NFC Championship for the first time in how long? Amon-Ra St. Brown will be my third receiver.
That's fine. You can take him. Give me Mr. Fantasy Reliable, my favorite fantasy receiver to have on your team outside of our guy Jay Jettas, and that is AJ Brown. AJ Brown is who we're taking with my third pick here.
Yeah, that's true. He is a monster. This one, I'm gonna go upside here. He hasn't really exploded yet. Huh?
You gonna take GW?
I am. He hasn't really exploded yet. Year 3 historically for wide receivers is their breakout season. Obviously, I'm just banking on healthy Rodgers. Healthy Rodgers will give them infinitely times better QB play than he had to deal with last year, and he still even got 1,000 yards somehow last year. So Garrett Wilson will be my fourth pick.
Like that makes my pick 5 easy. I feel like this is the
kind. Are you gonna keep dissing? Are you gonna keep backhand dissing me every time I make a pick? I like that. Well, so now I can pick my guy.
Well, it's just like I feel like you left me a guy who has huge WR1 upside, and I feel like
if you don't pick who I'm picking, you're crazy.
It's almost a guarantee unless his partner receiver stays healthy for the whole season, which we haven't seen. So I'm going to take Puka here with my fourth pick.
Yes, I could not decide between Puka and Garrett Wilson. So I'm glad you were smart enough to take Puka there. This is where we get interesting, Spinny. After the top 8, I think it's a lot of guys that
this is the next tier, I think.
Yeah. This is definitely the next tier. I'm going to go. Oh, man. Do I play high floor or high ceiling here? I'm going to go floor. Floor. I just did an upside with Garrett Wilson. I'm going to go back to floor here. Pick a guy that somehow goes off even on ass teams. And maybe he gets traded and plays with Rodgers again this year. Devontae Adams is my 5th receiver picked.
I'm taking another guy that's going to get traded probably, but I feel like he'll only go up in value if he gets traded, and that's Brandon Ayuk. So I'm going to take Brandon Ayuk here at pick 5. Maybe a little bit higher than he's been taken quite a bit, but I just feel like it's such an upside. Like if he goes to Pittsburgh where he's going to get 10 to 12 targets a game, I feel like there's just such upside.
And I still think people are sleeping on him a little bit. Like he's actually, just based on his raw numbers, people are sleeping on him. But he's actually, like if you just watch the tape, the dude is a legit receiver. Like he's really good.
He's a W1 really in the NFL.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I went floor, so I'm going back to upside. Spinny, you had so much faith in this guy's quarterback. So I'm taking Marvin Harrison Jr. We've seen rookie wide receivers come in and dominate right away these last 3, 4, 5 years. So I don't see why that would change now.
Yeah, Marv's a good pick. I'm going to take another upside pick here on a team with probably a bad quarterback. So we're going to go with Chris Olave here.
Nice.
Obviously, Olave goes up the more PPR type situation you've got probably in value, just because man's not going to score a lot of touchdowns. It's just not what they do in New Orleans, and it's not what his role is. So I like his value in half PPR, but obviously in PPR, I like it just a little bit more.
I like that pick. He is one of the guys I was considering for this last one, but I will go ahead and pick a division rival. I'm taking Drake London.
Division rival? What the are you talking about?
Saints
Chris Olave's division rival. I thought you meant the Vikes division rival. Sorry.
Oh, no. Yeah, I'm going to take Drake London. Obviously, we've seen Kirk Cousins produce top 10 wide receivers in the past. Obviously, Jefferson is a lot better than London. I understand that, but this was a guy that had really high pedigree, and everyone was super high on him coming into the draft, but he's played with freaking Desmond Ridder so far. So I think this is going to do wonders for Drake London. So I got to take him with my 7th pick. Spinny, your last pick.
This is such a hard one here for me. Nico Collins, I really like. Just a ton of mouths to feed there. In Houston worries me a little bit. Jalen Waddle, I also really, really, really like. But there has been injury concerns both with Tua and with himself. So we're going to go back to Mr. Old Reliable.
Please tell me.
Reliable. Nice and easy to finish out my team here. Give me some reliability. We're going to go with Mike Evans.
Yes. Thank you.
Mike Evans.
I would have been mad if he wasn't picked, honestly. Talk about a high floor. That is the definition.
The highest floor. Guaranteed 1,000 yards.
Yeah,
put the money on it right now.
Yeah.
1,000.
Exactly. For real. Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, Amon-Ra, Garrett Wilson, Devonta Adams, Marvin Harrison Jr., and Drake London are my 7 receivers.
Nice. Jefferson, Lamb, Brown, Puka, B.A., Chris Olave, and Mike Evans. My 7.
Go ahead, Hardos. Let us know who won again. Half PPR. Look at it through that lens.
Debo, Collins, Waddle, and Moore. Probably the 4
next guys,
the 4 next guys that got snubbed here.
Well, shit. I mean, even if you look at the rankings, it's like, why have an issue with that tier of guys? It's like they have all the Texans guys next to each other. It's like, what? I don't know who to pick out of these 3. Like, that's why this next tier, like all these WR2, fringe WR1 guys, they're all the same to me. It's so hard to pick.
Also, low-key Malik Neighbors. Thought about throwing him in here too. Had a little bit of an injury there in camp last week. It's kind of slowed me down a little bit on him, but he has been balling.
All right, Spinny. We are going to finish the JJ McCarthy episode with a Q&A.
Let's go.
I'm going to ask you, based on the segments we just did, name me a QB or 2 that you are completely staying away from in fantasy football this season. You want nothing to do with him.
That is so hard. How about you go first? Give me your answer first, and then I'll go.
Well, one of my guys is for sure Deshaun Watson. I cannot stand that dude. He is terrible. He always gets hurt. Everyone always just points to the injuries as to why he's not good. But look at his production when he actually plays. His QBR is pathetic. He's like literally towards the bottom. He's towards like 25th to 30th. I don't have the actual stat on my head, but he's in that range of quarterbacks when he actually plays, according to QBR. So it's like, I don't want anything to do with this dude. I have lost all faith in Deshaun Watson. That contract is going to end up being one of the worst, if not the worst contract in NFL history. So no Deshaun Watson for me.
I'm going to stay away. I'm going to give you 2 things. One, any of the rookies not named Caleb Williams, we're staying away from completely. I think they are not going to have good fantasy production. And then if I have to pick one person individually, it's Justin Herbert. I think we're going to see a lot more running the football for the Chargers. Um,
Absolutely.
so I think his fantasy value will go down.
Yeah, absolutely. And anyone holding on hope that Daniel Jones will be fantasy relevant again, give it up, man. He sucks. I see him there at the bottom of the rankings. Stay away from Daniel Jones if you think you're going to snag him at the end of your draft. Just don't. Wide
Yes,
receivers
agreed.
now, Spinny. Give me a wide receiver or two that you also want nothing to do with for this upcoming season.
Yeah, so wide receivers I'm staying away from. Anybody on Houston. Stroud is such a good spreader of the ball that it's really hard for me to pick between those guys. And he really loves Tank and Nico. And obviously, Diggs probably has the most like upside pure as a receiver. So it's just really hard to pick between any of those guys. For me, Cooper Kupp, staying away from, has not been able to stay healthy in the last 2 years. Really scares me. And I don't even think the upside is that high on him as well. So
Especially with Puka there now.
those are probably two guys I'm really staying away from.
I'm in the same boat with you for the Houston. Also, mainly because of where they're placed in the draft. Like you said, he spreads the ball around so much, but they're still pretty high in the draft. I don't think you're going to quite reach that value.
You're not getting the value.
Green Bay is another one. That's just another
Mm.
loaded wide receiver room where you can't really decide. And looking at the rankings, you got Watson and Jaden Reed literally right next to each other. It's like, okay, cool. I don't know what to pick here. And obviously, as a rule, any wide receiver that has an ass QB, probably stay away from. Deontay Johnson, traded to the Panthers. I don't really know if Bryce Young's ever going to be good, so probably stay away from him. Like anything along those lines, if there's an ass QB on that team, probably don't draft that receiver. So that's kind of my
Also,
thought.
Jerry Judy. I know we're
Oh,
probably talking about a
great.
10th to 13th round pick here, but I will
Yeah,
never have Jerry Judy on my fantasy team ever again.
me either. No shot in hell.
He's
Mike
just on my
Williams,
forever no draft list. Mike Williams, too. Both those guys on my forever no draft list.
literally. Well, Spinny, that was the JJ McCarthy episode 110. Prayers up to JJ once again. Hopefully you come back better than ever.
Facts. We love you. We know you're going to be our guy. Put the work in and let's go ball 2025.
And we love you, Hardies and Hardos, too.
We love you, Hardies and Hardos. Hug those friends and family and have a wonderful day.